Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tutor Fan, and welcome to the first episode of the newly named Football Unplugged podcast. Yes, obviously, you probably, if you listen to this or watching this, you're thinking, well, wouldn't you do 2026 World Cup community podcast? We were, but obviously, after the World Cup's finished, we want to keep this really good community that we've been building on Substack. Obviously, look for the Football Unplugged. So on Substack, definitely really awesome community of really passionate football fans. We thought we'd keep it going. Keep the podcast going, keep the constant podcast content of myself, maybe other people coming on and just talking about football. Obviously, it's not going to be a long one. Obviously, I'm going to limit myself to 15 minutes. So once a week, it's going to be 15 minutes of me talking about two of the biggest topics in football that I want to talk about. And obviously, the people in the community want to talk about as well. So, yeah, if you don't miss that, please like and subscribe. That really appreciate it. And obviously, let me know what you think of this format, what things you want me to know, that kind of stuff. Please, that'd be really appreciated. But obviously, in this debut episode of the newly Football Unplugged podcast, we've got two topics I really want to talk about briefly. And obviously, that is the big civil war, kind of war between FIFA and UEFA over Infantino's plans, failed plans of trying to sell 20% stake of the World Cup to a private investor. That's really sparked outrage across the footballing world. So we're going to talk about that. And obviously, we're going to talk about kind of news that, as a Liverpool fan, kind of was curious to find out. And obviously, that's where Mo Salah has decided where he wants to play next season. And his decision has raised some eyebrows and obviously made a bit of controversy that baffles me because, I don't know, it's weird football, especially punditry, so I don't know. But yeah, let's dive straight into it. Obviously, the first thing we're going to talk about is obviously the big kind of football news that came out this week and possibly a little bit last week. And that is the big news of obviously Infantino's coming out with his big plan to sell 20% stake of the World Cup to a private investor. As we found out, was obviously the brother of the brother of the brother of the person that's married to her here, Donald Trump's daughter. So you can see where this was going. But yeah, obviously it's sparked outrage, massive outrage, being proper, not like just condemnation in letters. Obviously, UEFA and all the nations are part of the UEFA. Boycotted, said they will boycott the next World Cup if these plans aren't changed. Obviously, as of recording this, obviously things have changed. Obviously, the plans have gone out the window. I think was Infantino has apologised and reversed his decision. And obviously, at the moment, he's still in charge. But there's still kind of turmoil going on because UEFA have come out with a statement saying they're still not changing their plans for Infantino. Not doing the World Cup next in 4 years, and obviously things like Welsh and the the English FA have also said that they would not support Infantino when in the big election in March, and it's really brought up the topic of question of like Infantino as as the kind of the president, FIFA as an organization in general, and kind of like the where football is right now, like especially especially how the diabolical, as much as the World Cup was fun, I did enjoy some of the football at times. It was so much corruption and so much like money grabbing. Maybe I'm just turning a blind eye, but it's blatant in this World Cup. It's absolutely mental. So but yes, obviously let's go and dive in a little bit. So what's this all about? So basically, what it was, Infantino, obviously not a very popular guy, came out with this plan after coming out sitting there saying that literally the most profitable World Cup of all time, so much money gone around, but he still wanted to come out with a plan where he could, buy 20%, sell it off to a private investor, and obviously use that money to be honest, what FIFA do, it's like a mafia in that place. Buy off, nations, give them this, that, and use it as a way of growing the world of football. I would say, I think a lot of the international nations are probably calling my language bullshit on that in a way. And obviously it was just a situation of, it was a joke. Like we've all kind of, and the idea that he's still in charge is absolutely outrageous in my opinion. It's a situation of like, the idea that like the UEFA have kind of done a situation where we're not going to play World Cup in 4 years if it stays where it is. And even if they've like his U-turn, I think you can't trust Infantino after this because obviously he done it and he tries to do it sneakily, like try and get it through the back door so nobody can know what's going on. Like he didn't inform anyone. Even certainly people around his own back stuff have been criticising this plan. It's a bad idea. Like, what are you doing? Like, this is world football. It's not about. I mean, I know it's hard. I know it's business, but football makes a lot of money. But like, it is a game for the people, right? And it's not a situation you should sell it off to anyone you can think of, and obviously it brings the most money. And we all know it's kind of looks very shady more when you look at it from a situation of, obviously, as I said in the intro, badly, but a situation of obviously the person that wants to buy the stake is obviously the brother of one of the people that are married to Trump's daughter. You know, it's got Trump's plans, fingerprints all over it. And obviously how controversial about how he got involved in certain decisions in the World Cup, and obviously the whole thing where standing and being involved in the celebration of the World Cup's whole thing. But yeah, it was blatant. But the question is, what do now? Obviously, staying at the moment. I think it's only a matter of time. I think with this one, the reason he's still there at the moment is because he haven't got a decent candidate. I mean, Wenger came up. I think I saw coming up as a candidate. I don't know. I mean, I think that's the problem. I don't want to say, someone said rightly, it's basically FIFA is just politics, but just without the countries. Like, basically, there are politicians that aren't, politicians. They all deal making, behind closed doors agreements, that kind of stuff. This is what it is. And obviously, I think at the moment, they just don't have anyone to replace him. So at the moment, it's better the devil you know than the one you don't. I'm not saying it's right, but I think until they get a clear candidate, then he's gone. I think. But at the moment, they're just going to stick with him because they haven't got anybody else. And similar to politics in the UK, in our country. So in my country. So yeah, I think it's an interesting one. But yeah, it's an absolute mess right now. I mean, UEFA and FIFA have always had their run-ins over certain things for a long time now. But it's got to a boiling point now. And yeah, I think Infantino, I mean, he makes Blatter look like a saint. That's like how he doesn't even hide how corrupt it is. I mean, I'm not naive to know that FIFA have always been a kind of a weird, strangely run organization if you look back. But yeah, it's baffling. And the idea that he thought this was a good idea and he just want to apologize and then swipe it under the rug is weird. I don't see this idea going away because like we've had so many attempts to try and money grab over the years. The Super League. Obviously, you got the extended UEFA was it Champions League with the groups with the league stage and all that kind of stuff, and obviously the FIFA with the whole now they want to do 64 teams. It's absolutely outrageous. Like I love football, but that's just way too much football. I mean, the idea that we just about got was it World Cup fatigue at the end of this World Cup. The idea the next one's going to be 64. I mean, I see the benefits of it because of small nations getting. I don't really buy the whole deluded thing where it dilutes the kind of quality of the competition because obviously it was really good. If you just look at it from pure football, it's like there were some really surprise packages through that tournament, and it was really awesome. But yeah, it's a thing I do want to talk about, but it is the biggest story coming out at the moment. And yeah, hopefully. I mean, the governing body, it's another thing is why people are kind of staying away from football because of all this kind of political maneuvering and kind of money grabbing. And it's not about fans anymore. It's about the rich people making as much money as possible. And it's just depressing. And it's probably the reason why I think recently I've been obviously watching big Premier League. But me personally, I've been trying to watch lower league football because at least that's just about the freaking football. So you can watch football and just enjoy it. But yeah, this one is no surprise, but also it's really frustrating. I'm trying to avoid it for the last week or so, but I think it has to be brought up because obviously it's kind of it is the biggest story coming out of football at the moment. It's like literally it's headlines and news. That's how big it is. Even political leaders are coming out saying they have no trust in it, and then that with Infantino tells you a lot about how important this story is, to be honest. And yeah, well, fingers crossed. Obviously, I would have. Yeah, I would ask the obvious question is just let me know in the comments below. Obviously, how long do you think Infantino's we're going to last this one? Has he got weeks? Is he going to be able to wait until March for the election, or do you think they're just biding their time for a coup to get rid of him? Because obviously he's about, even if you look at FIFA's all about PR, he's bad PR now, damaged goods. So it'd be interesting to see what happens there. But yeah, obviously now, and obviously the second big story that I would like to talk about in this very brief 15-minute episode is obviously the big news that Mo Salah has finally found his club. obviously big names were going around. Obviously, I think a lot of like Saudi Arabia sides were trying to tout him to join. A long time ago, they tried to put a bid in January, at the end of the summer, 2 years ago, and didn't work. You have obviously USA. I think there was talk about maybe into Miami, maybe. I think something like that, or just USA. They're the two kind of clubs you go to when you go on tail end and you want to be a big kind of like the quality. You can still play quality stuff, but also want a bit of money, money side of it. But yeah, I think it was. But no, he hasn't chosen him. He's chose Turkey, and he's chose Trabzonspor, if I pronounced that correctly. Finished third in the Turkish league last season, and obviously there was talk about he was going to Galatasaray as well. So he's been around talking about going to Turkey, but it's shocked a lot of people, I think, and disappointed them for some reason. I mean, I've seen some people like was it Dean Saunders and Jeremy Carragher be disappointed by where he's gone. But let's be honest, one, he's not a Liverpool player anymore. I love Mo Salah, but he's not. It's not like the top 6 leagues, but it's top 9. Like he could have easily got a payday, and he's still getting a payday. It's a 2-year deal. He's got, I think he takes around about £14.5 million base salary per season. I mean, the idea that he's got a deal where he takes 20% cut on merchandise and shirt sales. I mean, just saying, like, wow, just wow. I mean, that's just so the idea that he's like, oh, it's a bad deal. It's a magnificent deal for him. Like he's getting 20% of every merchandise. It's going to be massive. He's going to get money that way. And obviously, £14.5 million per season. I don't know the maths of that, but that's like a ridiculous amount of money. So guys go into a league that is a competitive-ish league. I mean, we're not talking about like, top 5 or anything, but it's still a league competitive. You've got obviously Galatasaray. You've got Fenerbahce. You have obviously big over there, obviously Trabzonspor. It's kind of a third, fourth. I mean, obviously there's a lot of big clubs in there in Turkey, so I don't want to downplay it. I think what's interesting about I think it's interesting. I think yes, football wise, but I think people forget about maybe family wise. Because obviously Turkey, I mean, don't know the geography well, but it's quite near, like it's near-ish Egypt. So maybe he just wants to go somewhere closer. Like not everything's about the money, really. So, and yeah, I'm kind of excited for him because obviously Mo Salah, as a lot of people kind of again criticizing him for like, well, ambition. It's like, well, he's got nothing to prove. He's probably going to go down as probably one of the top 5 best Premier League strikers or Premier League players of all time, probably in the top 10. That was obviously that's a plug for the Foot podcast I ever do. Do check that out. Put a link to that as well. No, that was not planned. But yeah, and he's going there, making some really, really good money. He's probably definitely going to be, the style is going to be quite different, so he might be able to last longer. He'll probably score little goals. They do have European football. I think they have Europa League, so it's not the end of the world. But yeah, it's great. And obviously, at this time, it's like when he doesn't have to prove anything. I just don't get why everyone's flipping out about it. I think it's because it's like of all the big teams, you expect him to go to the big teams or go abroad, and he's like everyone had a sense that he's going to Saudi Arabia, but I think he decided to go to Turkey. I think it's money because obviously if you're getting like nearly 14.5 million per year per season and a 20% cut of all merchandise that he knows that nearly every fan can afford, is buying that top. I mean, if I could have had the money, I mean, and I'm not even from Turkey and I'm not even supporting the team, but I would buy it. So the money he'd be getting for that. So it's, yes, money wise, he's good. And obviously the way he could be like, it could be a project thing, maybe because it's like team third. Maybe he might be the one that pushed them to win the title. Maybe getting paid good, interesting project, closer to his was it Egypt, and obviously maybe his family just wants to be there because obviously people forget about the family aspect of any footballer. So yeah, it's interesting, but I think it's great. I mean, I'm intrigued to see it. I might keep an eye on him. I don't know why people are annoyed this. I gotta be honest. I don't know. I don't know why Liverpool fans are. I don't know what Jamie Carragher is. I don't really know why everyone's angry. It's just again, it's expectations. People have expectation of where we go, and then he's completely gone left field, and he seems happy, and that's fine. Just let him play his football. He's going to go down as one of the greatest players of all time. Let him do his thing. Just everyone chill out, okay? I'm just, I think it's a good move for him. I think. Yeah, good for him. So, but yes, obviously that's the 2 big stories I'll talk about. Obviously, it's a very brief episode. Yes, obviously, hope you enjoyed this brief 15-minute episode of me just chatting on about two subjects. It's going to be the formula. Obviously, when you're talking to yourself, talking with solo, I don't want to 15 short and sweet. Just get my thoughts about once a week. It's kind of what this podcast is going to be. I also want to get, might be a bit longer when we get more guys on from the Football Unplugged community that we have on Substack. Definitely, I'll put a link below if you want to have a look at it. But yeah, it's been fun doing this episode. It's going to be a weekly thing. Probably one about Friday, Saturday. I'll definitely put some sort of schedule to make sure we have at the moment it's just to get this off the ground, and then we'll go for it next week. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. Please let me know what you think of this podcast, and hope you enjoyed the newly named Football Unplugged podcast, because it's going to be fun and it's going to be a really fun and long season. So I can't wait to talk more about football. So hope you enjoy, and see you next week in the next episode of the Football Unplugged podcast. See you then. Bye bye.